Hey, Will, it's good to have you here again. Back on our AI podcast to talk about everything that's going on in AI. So how's your week been?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I've been just quietly waiting for Claude Fable to be re-released, but I'm not holding my
Did
breath.
did you use it?
Yeah, I used it for a couple of days, and it was great. It was solving a lot of issues that I had. So basically, any problem I was trying to solve,
Yeah,
I was putting through Fable, and it was yeah solving it. So uh,
that's really
I,
good.
I do know that though these it seems to be that when these models are released, they're at their best, and for
Yes.
whatever reason, I guess somehow they throttle some of the compute. I don't know, but
It's
uh,
not the throttle compute. It's more like kind of like, how on internet, like back in the days, if you had in a, let's say like a cyber cafe and you're the only one in that cyber cafe, you get all the bandwidth. But then once 40 other people turn up and everyone's gaming, everyone is sharing the same bandwidth. So it's like everyone sharing the same resource in a way. That's my theory anyway.
yeah,
So once
yeah,
more
could be.
people jump on, and then everyone has to use a dumber version of the same. Like even right now, if you use Claude Code, for me, it goes back to the low, like how smart Claude is. Like you can choose what is it called, like the model, like low or high, or yeah, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what is it called, effort, like faster or smarter. So you can choose in that.
To me, it's kind of funny though. It's like when you had the Pentium computers and there was that turbo option, and you press the button for
Yes,
turbo.
turbo,
It's like
yes.
you'd always just have turbo on. Like, why would you not?
No, because in that you don't pay for tokens. Here it uses more
That's
tokens,
true.
so you
Yeah,
pay for,
that's
yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
you run out really really fast. Yeah, I've got so many updates. It's like, yeah, I was staying in a like a hostel type accommodation, and there were some other developers. There were people from all around, all walks of life. But it was an amazing accommodation. It was like so cool, and everyone there was like really really cool people. And this guy used to work for Microsoft. Now he works for someone else based out of Denmark, and they have like offices all around, like the other company, tech company he works for now. And he uses around $12,000 of tokens every month. So his company is paying more in tokens and AI cost than they are paying him. And he has had to get like special approval from his company to be using the amount of tokens and stuff. And in the last week or so, I think OpenAI also released their new model, and then the US government blocked it. He said he used it for 4 hours, and in 4 hours he found so many security vulnerabilities in their software that experts haven't been able to find for over like even 2 years of like testing and everything. So it's like it was really as powerful as they said.
Mm, yeah.
So
So, I mean, it
yeah,
seems like these models will eventually be available, but through verification. So, as someone who is
yes,
not a US citizen, uh,
not
that
holding the
doesn't
breath.
sound great news, but
Yeah.
perhaps it's simply, they verify that you're using it, for
Yes,
just
that's
normal
true.
everyday tasks. I don't know. To me, the precedent doesn't make sense. I think you need to just let these things play out. I mean, hackers get access to it, but everyone else gets access to it. It's the same tool. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any.
No,
I
but
mean,
then it makes a
regulation.
huge case for open source models and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like, over the long run, you don't want to have this reliance on one central authority anywhere, whether it's a company or a government or whatever. And kind of like the case for decentralization or open. open source models or like models that run on smaller devices like phones and Mac Studio and all that, that you run your own model, you run your own thing, and then no one can tell you what to do.
Which to me is interesting because it's the pendulum swing that has happened in computer science for decades
Yes.
where it goes one way and then it goes the other way. And for
Yeah.
example, when Microsoft became the most valuable company on
Company.
earth, everyone was saying, oh, they made the right decision. They said, no, we're not going to get into hardware at all. We're just going to be software and hardware
Yes.
can do their own thing. And
Yeah.
then the success of Apple overtook them, and everyone said, "Oh, actually, we got it wrong. It was hardware and software combined is the much better." That was why
Yes.
Apple was more
Yes.
secure and often more performant. And now lately, we've had this situation where everything is cloud based, and so we don't need to increase RAM, we don't need to increase performance of computers, unless we're gamers.
Yes.
But now, if we're going to be running these powerful models on our own computers locally, we're going
Yeah.
to need much better computers.
We are, and it is so expensive now. I don't know if you've checked the RAM prices recently. Have you seen
Yeah,
RAM prices to buy? It's like $1,000 or something to buy good like RAM and stuff.
yeah.
It's
So
insane.
what this could potentially be good for is companies like Apple, and they'll be selling the Mac Studio, and it'll be six
They
thousand
increased the
bucks, and it'll be
prices. You saw the
they
news
have
last week. They increased the prices because they could no longer. Because the reason why Mac was still cheap relatively to all this is because they had old contracts with the hardware suppliers in China, South Korea, and Taiwan, and now they are coming to an end. Those hardware contracts. So
yeah.
yeah.
But
So
but
and
to me, it'll
yeah,
be a no brainer if these open source models get powerful enough. Companies will just say, no, we don't want you using um, Claude OpenAI. We're just going to buy you, $10,000 maxed out Mac
yeah,
Studios and
yeah.
don't run everything in house.
Yeah, definitely. That's what's going to happen. And so that's what the other side of the argument is, that all these companies that are spending billions of dollars in data centers or hundreds of billions in data center construction, that a lot of these data centers are like building mainframes in the era
Yeah,
of personal computers. So it's like they're built by the time these mainframes or like these data centers are going to be ready, there'll be personal computers in hand of or like Mac Studios or whatever in hand of everyone, that
yeah, yeah.
people can just run equally smart or a smart enough model to run
I
everything
think, yeah, it's
that you
smart
want.
enough. It's like these
Yes,
frontier models are fantastic, but the previous models are still very, very useful.
they are exactly right. And
So, yeah,
when it goes to faster or smarter, I don't move it all the way to smart, but when it's like really fast, so we built my assistant. So I was working with the guy who like this, the developer, the AI developer and stuff, and he was showing me how to think, like how to make AI more efficient for myself. And yeah, I don't need, like when I put it at like the dumbest and the fastest setting, it doesn't give me good answers.
mm,
It kind of makes things up and can't find things. But then when I keep it halfway or two-thirds of the way to smarter and slower, it does work fantastically well. But I never have to go all the way to the smartest because I don't have that need. And most people, I guess, if I don't have, they won't have either.
yeah,
The one thing that it still struggles with, and there is no alternative, is the context window, because the context window is only so big. So you have to keep an eye. And one trick that I saw on TikTok or somewhere is that you get the AI to call you in the first, like at the start of the conversation, um, as Sir or something like that. So it would be Sir William Smith. Like, you get AI to call you. And then as your conversation gets longer and longer over a week or whatever, and then the context window, so it will drop the oldest information
yeah.
first. And then when it stops calling you Sir, like, or the whatever code word you've asked it to, that means that it is starting to lose and drop things from the context window. So just a way to keep an eye on your
Yeah, that's quite a good
AI.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like so much. But I mean, this idea might work this week. It might not work next week.
Yeah,
Everything is moving so fast, man.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, because obviously all these hacks that you work
Yes.
around, once the AI companies work out you're doing it, they'll say, "Oh, well, we need to do something similar so that we can alert the user when context is exhausted." And yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I found this similar thing where because it's so helpful going back to the same conversation with the same context,
Yes. Yes.
but it has these really annoying things where you'll say maybe it's a project you're doing and there's a new development, and then it'll say, "Oh, that's great because just last week you were saying this," and it's like, I was saying that 9 months ago. And then it's like, oh my goodness, the context is gone, and
Yes.
it feels like you need to start from scratch again.
Yeah. Yep. So, um, this new assistant that I've made is like it is so helpful. It is absolutely amazing. um, and My setup is like instead of like the regular chat, I use Claude Code, which probably you also use Claude Code, and I host the files in GitHub, and so it connects to the file in GitHub, and at the end of the session it commits to the file, and so then it is always taking back from that file. So I can start a new window, I can do whatever, and as long as I'm still in the same branch, just have to make sure that it's not creating a new sort of a sub branch in Git. And then I mean that also you can instruct it in the agents.md or something file that, hey, that I'm the only developer working on this, don't create sub file, this is just my personal assistant sort of a thing, sub branches, and just commit to main at the end of every change. And now it's like it's amazing for me. It's like for me on my podcast, I've done 410 episodes, and it's just pulled in all the speakers, all the topics we talked about, and as well as there's probably another 200-300 inquiries that I haven't replied back. There's all these other people every like day, and I go to conference or people I meet, I just talk with it like a human, that hey, I just met this person, I talked about this, and it manages it everything. I don't have to worry about the database structure and everything, and it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
absolutely amazing. So it's just like today someone was asking, hey, can you introduce me to Alliance DAO, are they still investing? And then I just went to my assistant that, hey, who did I talk with at Alliance DAO? And then it found out that his name is also Will, that I talked with Will in March 2003. Do you want me to add him to follow-ups or something like that? And I said, no, don't add him to follow-ups. And then I just sent that info to the person I know, XYZ at it's like super helpful. It's
yeah.
like
And
better, faster, more efficient than any CRM that I have ever used. And remember like how back in the days we tried like Pipedrive, and we tried Copper, and we tried so many different CRMs, and none of the CRMs stay updated.
yeah, they
But
work
this,
well for the first week or two.
yes, yes, exactly right. But this is, yeah, takes it to the
Yeah,
next level. Yeah,
just going back. Yeah, the reason Claude Code works so
yeah,
well is it's designed, at least in my
yes,
from my viewpoint, I could be wrong, but it's designed to be able to troll through files and find what is appropriate to the context. So
yeah,
same thing works well if you run that in Obsidian, because Obsidian is just basically .md files.
yeah,
And so you can structure it so, oh, you want to ask about a client, it can search and then find the appropriate files, bring it into context. Or if it's like maybe you keep all your family events going on there, then it'll know which files to look at and bring
yes,
into context. So it doesn't have enough context to bring everything in, but it doesn't need to, because it can usually find it through a well-organized repository or Obsidian or whatever.
yes,
The one thing I would like is, like, I sometimes feel a bit boxed in now with Claude Code, because they could increase their prices by 3x, and I'm wondering what would I do. um, and it's like what I would want is
okay,
an,
okay. This
a
is what
vision
you'll
of
do,
a vision of
because the
Claude Code that
yes,
is agnostic. So I can say, switch to, which is basically similar to Cursor, but I just find it easier to run it in the command line, to be honest.
Yeah, you could absolutely. What I'm running this, because the files, my files are still where it is updating things. Those are as cs. So there's two set of files. One is the csv files with the raw data, and then there's the agent.md and kind of like readme.md style things on instructing it what these files are and what the structure is, which are maintained by Claude. But then I can easily plug in all this stuff into Codex or anything else, and it will still, because my data is still on living on GitHub in a private, as a private repository in GitHub. So I'm not tied to Claude. I could move this to any other system in future, and I'm not tied to Obsidian, not tied to anything.
Yeah, I just want one tool I can easily not use other tools for there. Just say,
Yeah, you could run one of those open source models on your own PC on Mac Studio, and then connect it to your GitHub. Save all your CRM type info in CSVs and in GitHub, and connect it to that, and then yeah, so you could still potentially do that and even have your data available offline. So it's like I was in the flight, and I was so one of my friend, like the developer friend I met in Amsterdam, he was like, oh yeah, let me make it so that you can even access it offline. And I'm like, oh, it's too complicated, I can't be bothered. uh, but it can be done, so you even
yeah,
have
yeah,
access to it offline. So yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, like you were saying with the, using it as your own personal CRM,
Yes.
it's better than any SaaS tool that you'd pay for. And furthermore, if you are behind and nothing's updated, then you can just get AI to update. It takes like 5 minutes. You can dictate whatever the updates are, and then it keeps everything updated. So I've got this.
Exactly. And so
Yeah,
because it's working through Claude, and Claude's got the voice mode and all that, and I can just dictate it and talk with it in the car, and I can ask it, hey, what's on my to-do list? What's on my, so even the to-do list, I'm managing it just through this. It's just it was
yeah,
smart enough to understand and make a to-do.csv file and then update it.
yeah,
And the context window is not getting bigger because it's storing or saving the data
yeah.
back on GitHub.
And then
And
there's also the connectors. So if you're using Claude Cowork, it can
yep.
connect to things like your calendar, your Zoom, your
Yes.
Superhuman if you use Superhuman. So what I do is basically my Mondays now are when I do a lot of my sales catch up. And so I'll send
Yeah.
emails, I'll do calls. And then I've got, I think, I don't know what else to do. I'll just go into Cowork and say, I'll go through my Superhuman and find appropriate emails, and go through, uh, different
Yes.
things that we could, resurrect old leads.
Yeah.
And the other good thing about Cowork, because it connects to Zoom, I uh, enable by default the AI transcription.
Yep.
And so whenever a Zoom meeting's finished, I can go into Claude Cowork and I don't even need to tell it. It will automatically go into Zoom, find the transcript,
That's
and get all the
amazing.
context.
That is amazing.
So
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
I strongly try and get everyone to go on a Zoom meeting because it's just like, it just works so much
yes.
better. I mean, you could like record your phone calls and then get that transcript, but it's just the extra work. So
Yeah, yeah. That's so true. I do still meet a lot of people. I just spent 3 weeks in Europe. I spent 1 week at Bitcoin Prague, 1 week at the Berlin or the German blockchain week, and then 1 week at Dutch blockchain week. And every day I go to so many events, side events, meet so many new people, exchange contacts, and then everyone has a different method where they want to connect and meet and keep in touch with. So some want to do it
mm,
on LinkedIn, some on emails, some on WhatsApp, some on Telegram. 60% on Telegram because of the industry, and then the rest spread out. And so it is a hassle, but now I just go back and tell it. I mean, I could potentially connect with everything, but that was too much hassle, so I just tell him like, okay, follow up with this person, add this person to the list, all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So what else is happening in AI? What else have you heard?
Ah, nothing much comes to mind. The main thing for me is
For
when you. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
for me, it's like I've been hearing a lot about loops. Have you heard about loops? So basically, that you don't prompt
Yeah,
and
yeah,
create loops so that it automatically prompts for you and keeps improving, kind of like the idea of machine learning, that style of thinking, that um but
yeah.
it's not for everyone.
I think it was the creator of Claude Code did a
Yeah,
video, well, a talk on it, and that
yeah.
how it sort of gained attention. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not a new concept, like if every programmer has used loops in some way or form,
yeah,
like every developer has used it in past, and now it's just doing it for your agent, that it okay. I think it's great for software development, because you can put the loop for testing, whether it's any type of unit testing, or that it keeps on testing and finds bugs and then fixes them and that type of thing. But for normal day-to-day user, I don't know, man. It's like you could get burnt in
yeah,
tokens if the loop goes wrong. So you need to have really good termination clause, so it does
yeah, yeah,
terminate and not just keeps running perpetually and keeps using your tokens in the back end. That's probably what the cloud code they want to anyway,
yeah,
like
yeah,
conspiracy theory, that they want everyone to keep using more and more tokens
yeah, yeah.
because they make more money.
Well,
So
that was the what happened with OpenClaw when that came out. People were starting to burn through.
yes,
They
yes.
say, "Oh, it's great! I got my daily assistant, and my daily assistant costs $300 a day. I should
I
just get a
keep
human one."
Yes, yes, exactly. And just like how the developer I was, the developer I was talking with in Amsterdam, who like from Denmark, he showed me his usage. He in the last year he used, I don't know, 6 billion tokens or something like that. He's already used over 16 billion tokens, and that's
Oh wow!
just in Claude. um so yeah, all these token maxers, but they are working for someone, so it's their employer paying it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and at the moment I was telling him as well that everything is subsidized by investors. Every single AI is subsidized by VCs, stock market investors, sovereign funds, everyone. And what happens when this whole ecosystem stops getting investment from outside?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens then. Does
I said as funny as I mentioned OpenClaw. I was just going to say what
Yes.
actually happened to OpenClaw. It's funny
it's
how these things come and live and die really quickly. I mean, it's
uh,
not dead, but it's certainly not on the forefront anymore.
yeah, yeah, it's very hard to keep the attention alive. It's like such a
Yeah,
noisy space. Kind of like, so many crypto projects come and go all the time.
yeah, yeah.
The big ones stay, but all the small ones come and go. um yeah, so yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Cool. So yeah, so I think that's about it for this week. Let's catch up again next week, and maybe we can show some ways of how we use our assistant, and you can show how you use with Obsidian and stuff. So yeah, people can have a look. And so cool. So we'll see you, all of you, next week, and thanks again, Will, for your time.
Cool. Catch you next time.